final quarter begins right now.
And welcome to it, the final quarter on CBS 8+. Here's what we got lined up for you today. How about them Padres off to a 7-0 start? They're keeping their young superstar in San Diego for at least the next 9 years. And San Diego FC, the Aztecs, and the NCAA Final Four. We got it all for you right here on CBS 8+ on the final quarter. I'm Jake Garriani. That's John Howard. And that is Karthik Venkatraman. Fellas, how are we feeling today?
Oh, I can't wait to unleash here.
Unleash, man. John's ready to go. I guess maybe if someone makes me mad, then I can unleash like I used to. Someone hasn't given me a reason to yell recently. So.
The Padres should give you a reason to yell with excitement. They are 7-0. There are 2 undefeated teams in all of Major League Baseball. The San Diego Padres at 7-0, and one other team that happens to play in the NL West, known as the Los Angeles Dodgers, at 8-0 after Shohei Ohtani hit a walk-off home run. What a start it has been for the Friar faithful and the Friars. Let's hear from the fellas.
What you said, it's a tight-knit group from top to bottom. Everybody's pulling for each other, fighting for each other. We all want to get the job done.
Yeah, just good baseball every night. Guys on point.
And, man, it's just great baseball that we're around. And what's going on here, dude? We have a great ball club over here, and we came out of the gate with the right foot.
I mean, as a team, we always say that we apply pressure, we don't feel it. You know, we apply that shit. That's us. You know, we want everybody to feel the pressure.
Offense was really good. Defense was, I'm sure we'll get to it. Very clean again, helped us win a ball game on the basis. It's total team effort, 1 through 26.
So it's a team-focused group, and we're all just we show up to the field every day, and the only thing on our mind is to win a ball game.
We don't feel it. You know, it doesn't matter. We're down 8 runs. There's no pressure on us. We're down 8 runs. All we got to do is play our game. We're back in it. So we don't feel it. We apply it.
It really has become the theme of the Padres, at least in this first week, that we don't feel pressure, we apply it. Anyone who has watched a single game from the San Diego Padres has seen the way they apply that pressure, whether it be clutch hitting, whether it be pitching, whether it be the way they run the bases, they're forcing errors. They are doing everything right in this early going, and it is proven in their record at 7-0. Fellas, your thoughts on the start for these San Diego Padres?
Karthik, you want to lead or you want me to?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
It's been really impressive. I mean, like, you think about everything through the offseason and, you know, expectations, the lack of the offseason moves, whatever. Kind of seems like A.J. Preller's playing, 4D chess right now with the rest of the MLB and what he's been able to put together. So many people had questions on how they would be able to fill different positions, what they do at pitcher. They make one big splash in the offseason, which was getting Nick Pivetta. But everything else has kind of just been plug-and-play sort of guys. The lineup seems to consistently change. You've gotten really good production out of Gavin Sheets to start the year. The bullpen has been absolutely incredible to start the season through these first 7 games. I think I looked it up earlier. 39.2 innings pitched by the bullpen in their first 7 games, only 2 allowed runs. I mean, that's as good of production as you can get out of the bullpen as possible. Overall, and then, Randy Vasquez coming in, getting a start. He pitches really well with 6 innings, no runs allowed. I mean, it just seems like everyone's just kind of clicked to start the season. Jackson Merrill has been incredible. Fernando Tatis Jr., he looks like he's healthy, ready to go. He's been incredible, stealing bases, getting hits, whatever that might be. Manny Machado has been playing. I mean, like, everything's just working to perfection. That's why they're 7-0 right now. You couldn't ask for a better start, especially with all the adversity that so many people had drummed up, during the offseason. The Padres have come out and just said, hey, let's just win 7 games in a row for the best start in franchise history.
Yeah, it's really been amazing. And I think one of the ways to apply that pressure is to be the aggressor. And I think that's what the Padres have been this season, especially running the bases. I think they're more aggressive on the bases. And another great way to apply the pressure is to take advantage of every mistake your opponent makes. If they give you 1 free out, you're scoring on that out. If they give you 1 free base, that runner's going to end up 2 bases ahead. They've run the double steal, first to third, or first to second, and then third to home. They've run that to perfection twice, scoring runs. And again, the aggressor oftentimes is the one applying the pressure, and that's what this team is doing.
Yeah, it's great to apply the pressure, just like SDFC always applies pressure, Karthik. You want to keep that going. We'll get into that a little bit later. But what a start for the San Diego Padres. If they're going to get these type of pitching performances from Randy Vasquez and Nick Pivetta and Kyle Hart, who, congratulations, got his first ever big league win, and what a journey it has been for him. If they're going to get those type of starting pitching performances, I mean, this team will be a reckoning. And Karthik, you mentioned these plug-and-play pieces. Well, really, it's the thing that I harped on. We kind kind of harped on throughout the offseason is people forgot how good the dang roster was. Like, they got caught up in the Padres not making moves, but they forgot that Manny Machado is an amazing baseball player. They forgot how good Fernando freaking Tatis Jr. can be when he is healthy. They forgot about Jackson Merrill. I'm like, how do we not remember these guys that just come out here and completely ball? And then, yes, your role players do their parts. The Gavin Sheets, Yuli Gurriel had a clutch hit. So it's been a great start. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves because it is 7 of 162. But a hot start ain't never hurt anybody when it comes to Major League Baseball. It's good to be 7 games above 500 in the first 7 games of the season. So.
No kidding. The only frustrating part, they're not even in first place because the dopey Dodgers are 8-0. But
at least the Padres didn't have to pay all that money to get their undefeated record. So
that's true. The Padres got it at a much bigger discount.
And the whole division itself, the Giants are playing great baseball. The Diamondbacks are good. I mean, the NL West by far is the best division in baseball.
Better than the AL Central, that's for sure.
Oh, my goodness. There will be no question throughout the whole year this will be the best division in baseball. Speaking of bargains and money and all of that stuff, Jackson Merrill gave the Padres relatively an unbelievable bargain. He signed a new contract, 9 years, $135 million. Let's hear about it first.
Jackson's a winner. He's an incredible. I forget that he's a kid. I mean, he's so mature. He's already been great, and he's going to continue to be greater and greater every year. So that's a steal for the organization. We're thankful to have him for the next 9 years and hopefully beyond that. And then someday I'll be sitting on my couch watching him win ball games for the Padres.
I'm so happy for my boy Jackson. He definitely deserves it, and can definitely wait for play 9 more years right next to him.
It's just fantastic and very, very well deserved. Really happy for him. Really happy for the Padres organization. The city of San Diego, Jackson's, how he carried himself in the press conference today and just how authentic he is and what he's really ultimately about, and that's playing baseball with his teammates and winning baseball games for the city of San Diego and this organization and being there with his brothers. I really, that's the essence of Jackson.
I believe in everybody in the org from top to bottom, from minor leagues to big leagues. I believe in everybody here. Everybody's got a certain job, a certain role here, and whatever that is, I'm appreciative of everybody that works hard to just fill that role. This is my role, and I'm here to win games.
To be able to hit a home run on the day you sign your extension, how did that feel?
I mean, striking out first AB, I was like, damn, this is how we're gonna go. And then, I had to come with something. I had to give the fans something. So it's cool.
That was me asking a question. He genuinely made me laugh out loud when he said that. I struck out. Damn. All he did in his next at was hit a 2-run home run. And in a 24-hour period, he hit a home run against the Guardians, signed a 9-year, $135 million extension, and then hit another home run, and the Padres are undefeated. And I swear the only thing he cares about is the undefeated part. Let's talk a little bit about the contract. It has an opportunity to get to over $200 million, depending on incentives. And then at the end, going 34 into 2035, there is a team option to start. It's a $21 million team option. If Jackson Merrill finishes in the top 5 of MVP voting, easy for me to say, at any point throughout that contract, it becomes a player option, and Jackson Merrill will have the choice whether he wants to sign that. That's 9 years down the road, though. There are no opt-outs in this deal, so barring some shocking trade, Jackson Merrill will be a San Diego Padre for the next 9 seasons. And before I get to what I want to talk about, because I was down there at Petco for days talking about this, I'll let you guys comment on Jackson Merrill's extension. John, why don't you go ahead and start it off?
Well, yeah, Jake, you reported yesterday that it was a very team-friendly contract, which it is. No opt-outs for Jackson. My question is, 5 years from now, when he's a 4-time All-Star, a 3-time Gold Glover, he's gotten some MVP votes, and he's suddenly he's a top 10 player in the league, but he's paid like the 75th player in the league. I certainly hope the Padres will reopen the checkbooks if necessary. I just get the feeling that these long-term deals are short-sighted. And for those of us that are of age, we remember back when Magic Johnson signed a 25-year deal for the unbelievable sum of $25 million. And within 5 years, it was like, Magic was totally underpaid. So I'm hoping that 5 years down the road, there might need to be a reevaluation and perhaps some more money thrown Jackson's way if he continues to do what he's done in his first year and a week.
Karthik, I really get the feeling Jackson doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, he got his generational wealth, and let's make no mistake of it. It's hundreds of millions of dollars still. Yes, John, you're totally right. He could have made way more had he waited or maybe down the line. But I really get the feeling, and we all listened to his press conference, that that, hey, he got it out of the way, he made the money he wanted to make, and now it's all about winning. Do you agree, Karthik?
Yeah, I do agree. And to John's point, I think to just get the long-term extension and kind him, pay him, some sort of big sort of money, and it's not like as much money as he probably could make in a couple years or whatever, but it's goodwill. I think some of the things that stuck out to me in that press conference is just like Jackson Merrill talking about, like, the Padres organization talks to me and asks me about how I'm doing and family and things of that nature, and I think those things really matter to him. And he talks about winning championships. He posted like a little social video through the Padres saying that, hey, the goal is to win some championships for you all, and I'm excited to stay here for the long term, and Padre for a long time. Like, all these things I think are the things that Jake was alluding to. Is like, that's what he seems to really care about. I love how he's not coded at all when he's in his media availabilities talking to people. He's just going to let himself be him. And, even A.J. Preller said it in his press conference, as Jackson, signed and inked this deal was, what really drew him to him the first time he went and watched him is Jackson is just the ultimate competitor. Like that, he was the greatest competitor that A.J. Preller had seen in so long. And I think that plays into it. Why does Jackson Merrill not want to take a bunch of money? Well, I mean, we already seen the Padres don't have a lot of it. They're not a big market team. And then on top of that, he wants to win championships. He wants what's best for the city, what's best for the organization. And, the rest of it will come. I think Padres fans, by the time his career is over, will remember him as one of the all-time Padres greats because of the trajectory in which his career has already taken off at and what he's already been able to do in such a short time. And I think, his legacy is going to grow. I think he just cares about winning. I truly believe that just based on what I've talked to him just in my short time here, but also in just the preparation he brings to the ballpark every single day. It doesn't really seem like he cares anything else about except for Padres winning a championship. And, I think that's the kind of person Jackson Merrill is. I think that's the person he'll continue to be. The money will eventually come to him. I don't really think that's a question. He's too talented not to get that sort of money at some point in time down the road. And the Padres have, shown it with guys like Tatis and Machado that they're willing to pay the money for their big stars on their team. I don't really think that's a question of what's going to happen in the future, but what I do know for a fact now is Jackson Merrill is a guy who just really cares about this team, and the Padres, I think, really care about Jackson Merrill staying there as a career-long Padre, and that's what they want to see. So a little bit of goodwill forward here with a long-term extension.
Yeah, Karthik, and when you talk about being a career-long Padre, it's reminding me of one Tony Gwynn. And I'm not going to compare Tony Gwynn and Jackson Merrill on the field, but off the field, Jackson Merrill has made it clear he doesn't care about being the highest paid player in the league. Tony Gwynn was the same way. Tony could have made a whole bunch more money by going elsewhere, especially in the second half of his career, but he didn't want to. He wanted to stay here in San Diego, and I think that's what we're hearing from Jackson Merrill. The money, I'm going to get paid enough money. I don't need to be the highest paid. I want to be comfortable and enjoy living where I'm living. And that was very much the same way with Tony Gwynn.
I think it means a lot to Jackson, too, that, like, the Padres were, that first team that really reached out to him and, like, really started that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know Jackson Merrill on, like, a personal level or anything like that, but it seems like those kind of things really matter to him, that loyalty kind of aspect of, being with team and stuff like that. We'll see as time goes on, but it really seems like those things matter. And I think that's a big reason as to why he's like, okay, well, I'm willing to make such a commitment to you because from the get-go, you all made a commitment to me.
Merrill Madness here to stay in San Diego. It's the perfect thing for what the San Diego Padres need. Lock up young, great talent for a relatively affordable price. We'll have all season to talk about these Padres. Hopefully next week when we're back here on the final quarter, they are still undefeated. Might as well keep those good vibes going. Until then, let's move on to the pitch where SDFC got that first ever home victory when they beat down LAFC at Snapdragon Stadium. Went out, scored 3 early goals, and then held on to win it. They are going to take on Seattle at Snapdragon Stadium, a team not really of the level of LAFC, so we'll see what they can do. Why don't we start with a little recap of the LAFC match, and then we'll get into Seattle. But your thoughts? I mean, SDFC really keeps this train rolling, fellas.
Yeah, I definitely thought their performance in that game against LAFC was better than their first 2 home performances that they had, and I'm sure they're glad to get the monkey off the back to get that first home win in franchise history. I asked them after that first one, tying, like, was there some sort of pressure that goes into it? They said no, the pressure is, only what you make of it. I think there has to be a little bit, right? There's so much anticipation in that crowd with getting stuff done. For them to come out in the way they did and open that game with 3 goals to get up 3-0, that place was going bonkers, and it was just fun to watch as they just kept, building momentum. LAFC kind of showed, how good of a team they are by scoring those 2 goals there at the end of the first half. But, great for SDFC to get their first home win in franchise history. I know Mikey Varas talked about it in great length of what it meant to kind of set the building blocks for what he believes is going to be a giant in MLS and in the Americas for years to come. And, for all of that and for what it's worth, great. Jake alluded to it earlier about protecting a lead there. I'd love to get into that discussion as well.
Yeah,
but,
we'll let John say his piece, and then
me and Jake will yell at each other potentially.
Because you just have the worst take of all time. But let's let John say his piece first.
I can't wait to hear these two have at it, because during the text thread,
poor John's just sitting here.
While this match was going on, the 3 of us are on a text thread, and the 2 of them were at each other's necks about whether or not to still be aggressive when they've got the big lead. What I'll say is I love the start this team has gotten off to, similar to the Padres. Very exciting. They're 3rd place in the Western Conference. Who would have expected that out of an expansion team? And the fact they get their first win at home is great. Their next game is at home against Seattle. I like the start this team is off to, and the fact that it is bringing in fans, and it's amazing how strong the fan base already is.
Yeah.
Snapdragon's sold out, and they've got the fan base just so strong. But let's go ahead and toss it to you two about whether or not you continue to put your foot on the gas pedal when a team is up 2-0 or 3-0.
Okay, let me
go ahead and say your bad bit real quick.
It's not a bad bit.
It's a
My
terrible
thing
bit.
for me is they were up 3-2, they were up a man. And Jake, as I texted you, it's not about pulling off the reins and right when you get the red card and you go up a man. I'm still all for their attacking play style, trying to score in goals. But when you have that defensive line
already
coming
backpedaling
up,
from the text.
No, I'm most certainly not. When you have the defensive line that far up, and your whole thing this year is when you've let up those early goals and you've let up goals in general, is getting beat on that back line because they're playing so far up. When you're up a man and you're up 3-2 in the game, it doesn't really feel, because they almost got beat on a couple of those balls down the field. Up a man.
Almost.
Up a man. Well, they went off the post, Jake. Oh, my God. You made me yell. Here we go. He's back, baby.
What?
He's back. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, why risk it? You're up a man. You don't need. I understand why. The insurance goal getting up 4-2 obviously would have been great. And they had some good opportunities. I'm not saying don't try and put the pressure on and get that insurance goal. But I'm also saying I don't see the point of why the defensive line has to be so far up to let potential goals over the top in what could have been a very well tied game, or maybe LAFC taking the lead with how many opportunities they got down the backstretch there.
Mr. Karthik, your time is
first of all
completed.
It's their style of play. It's what has made them what they are. They're going to remain aggressive the entire match. Mikey Varas has said it the whole way through.
I get that.
Do you?
I do. I just don't agree with it.
And then it continues to help this team do what they do. Their aggressiveness, as we've talked about with the Padres, helps them on defense. It helps them overall. You're the guy that wants to sit back and prevent, like the Patriots when they lose to the Miami Dolphins, and just go, oh, let's pray we hold on. We'll just put everybody back. Let's pray we hold on.
They were praying to hold on while playing the same stuff that you're talking about.
They were playing aggressive, which is great, which I love, which is all you should continue to do. Don't all of a sudden get a lead and then change the way you play the game. That is how you get in trouble.
For me, it's not changing the way you play the game. As I said, I still think they should come out with a mentality to try and score the goal. However, there's got to be two. You can not go for the dagger punch every single time, but still keep pressure on. I think there's ways to do both. Like at the end of a football game, and I gave this analogy to you. At the end of a football game, if a team is up, then you don't just keep throwing the ball deep down the field and trying to score that extra touchdown to go up when you could just run. You have the ability to run out the clock. SDFC is a great team at keeping possession for 70% of the game and not giving the ball up to an extent. The defense helps them re-get the ball, but their offense is oftentimes just holding the ball, looking for their best opportunity to score. I mean, that is what it is. Their defense helps them, obviously, with gaining possession time because a lot of the times guys like Chris McVay come up, take the ball right back, and SDFC's holding the ball. I'm with you there, but you can still do that without having playing too far up and getting countered on the opposite side. When LAFC had defenders, if Chris McVay didn't play an A-plus game
a lot of words
in that
to
game,
explain what you've already said.
I'm just saying, if McVay did not play the A-plus game that he had, I don't know if they're coming out there up a man in the second half with a win.
I'll ask Mikey about it next time we see him, and I have a feeling
I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, keep playing aggressive. We want that knockout blow. He said it after the game.
Are you saying you know better than Mikey?
No, I'm not saying. My opinion is that there's got to be two levels of motive. How aggressive you're willing to play when you're up a man and you have a lead.
If I can have a final word, or do you want...
Two seconds, because I want to get to this analogy you brought up about throwing it every time with football. That's not a similar analogy. The way you were talking would be like, hey, if we're playing football and we have a lead, we'll just punt it back to you and play defense every time. We don't even want our 3 plays.
I did not say that. I said SDFC has high possession. Yeah, you're putting words in my mouth. That's what you do.
I can't put words in your mouth. You've been talking the whole time. Come on now.
Oh, my goodness.
John, go ahead.
And now you have an idea of what the text thread was like during the match. And I will say, you should never change the way you play the game. You play the game to win the game.
You play to win the game.
Okay, if you play to win the game, you try and put the goal up on the board. But when there's like in your 80th minute or whatever, I think for me, it's like at that point you're up. It's not like if they were up 3-2. If it was 3-2 and it was 11 on 11, I'm with you guys. But when you have a clear advantage because you're playing a man up, I think it's a different story.
So
like in that game against Real Salt Lake, when they got up 2-1, going up and trying to get 3-1 or trying to get the victory, I'm here for it. You want to pick up those 3 points. But when you're up a man in the second half and already up a goal and the odds are already highly in your favor for win probability, why are we taking the chance?
If you're leading in a hockey game, right? Let's say you're up 2-3 in a hockey game, 3-2, and then you get a penalty and you're on a power play. You just want, like, hey, we'll just hang on to the puck for 2 minutes and not try and score, not do anything?
I just think for me, if I've looked at SDFC this year, they've had 2 opportunities in which they've been up a man in games, 1 goal to show for it.
We got to move on. We'll continue to disagree on that. We'd love to hear from you. You guys jump in on the comments. Please let us know who's right, because that's the only way we'll settle it.
Well,
I mean, and the head coach agrees. But let's move on to basketball. I got to let Karthik cool down a little bit. How about the Aztecs? It was doomsday, folks. I mean, it was all over, right? Magoon Gwath was leaving. Nick Boyd was leaving. This was your starting 5 in that North Carolina game to end the season for San Diego State. And again, Magoon was out the door. Nick was out the door. All of a sudden, the sky was falling on Montezuma Mesa, and then a whole lot changed for the Aztecs. Magoon decided to come back to Montezuma Mesa. Guys, this was huge. I mean, not understated. Massive news for the Aztecs.
What I love about him staying is the loyalty he's showing, and I think he's probably going to get drafted in the NBA next year. I don't think he's ready for it this year. And another thing I love, the Aztecs have another 7-footer that'll be activated this season. We have the Twin Towers out there, so love to see Magoon Gwath come back, and they've had a couple of transfers come in.
Yeah, I definitely think Magoon Gwath coming back is huge. I mean, he is the best pro-talented type player on San Diego State men's basketball team. The other one closest to him would be Miles Bird, and then maybe Farrell Compton, down the road, depending on how he develops. But Magoon Gwath, it cannot be understated how versatile is. I mean, just look at his accolades that he piled up in his first year. Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year, Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And the Defensive Player of the Year as a freshman, I mean, this guy's only going to bulk up more. He's going to become more athletic. The big thing for him is, can he stay healthy moving forward? His senior year of high school, his freshman year, and his redshirt freshman year, he was injured in all 3 of those, and you don't want to see that from Magoon. So can he get to that level of staying healthy? I think that's a big reason why he wouldn't go in the NBA draft if he did a low second-round pick, just because of the raw talent that he is. But I think why he has a better, way in a path is if he stays 1 more year at San Diego State, because I think he can put it all together. And if he can even shoot up in, with his 3-point shooting percentage and get a little better there, I think he leaps some bounds. He had an amazing stretch this past season where it felt like he was putting up a double-double every game, or really kind of getting to that high points performances. And I think, 1 more year at San Diego State, obviously, he's really talented, but it cannot be understated for how talented he is, how big it was for him to not go to a school like Kentucky and come back to San Diego State for another season.
A big addition by subtraction and re-addition there. They also added some new faces. How about Sean Newman Jr., the Law Tech transfer coming in, a 6'1" point guard. This guy is an assist machine, and he has handed the keys to the Ferrari of this offense, huh?
Yeah, I think with Nick Boyd leaving, he's the natural guy that'll fill in. It'll be a lot of fun to see how he does. I have not seen him play, but definitely looking forward to seeing how Dutch will slide him in and mix him in with the chemistry.
He seems more of like a facilitator than maybe Nick Boyd was. Nick Boyd, it seems like more of a scoring guard first, but this guy almost averaged a double-double, I believe, in his last season at Louisiana Tech. that kind of stuff could help open up the offense. Obviously, it felt like San Diego State, instead of holding the ball, which it kind of seems like they do on a lot of their possessions and run a bunch of weaves or whatever it might be, some of their best offense that I really enjoyed watching them play last year is when they were able to move the ball around the perimeter, get these quick passes and move it inside. I think with a guy like Newman Jr., you maybe have more potential for doing that. And, I think that's very exciting for San Diego State moving forward to, be able to replace him with another point guard. Plus, you got guys like Taj DeGorville, BJ Davis that are going to have another year under their belt, and they'll be coming back. And hopefully, overall, the team looks like it could be better than this year's iteration.
Yeah, it is funny. All of a sudden, it does look like it could be better. It's nice that San Diego State has a true number one. And, John, you mentioned 2 7-footers. Let's also add on a 6'9" forward. This guy is a veteran. Jeremiah Odin also transferring into San Diego State. He's been around Charlotte, DePaul, Wyoming. Guy who's played in Viejas Arena, right? Playing in the Mountain West and Wyoming. More height to the Aztecs.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that's fantastic about bringing him in. He knows the Mountain West Conference. He knows the Mountain West Conference travel schedule, which is a pain in the neck.
No kidding.
And he's another big guy. He's familiar with the Aztecs and with Dutch, and he has studied the Aztecs offense and defense from being the opponent. Now he's going to, I think, very quickly come up to speed as an Aztec.
I think also people don't have to ask him about if he's drinking his beet juice before he goes plays in Laramie for a road game. But it's a big addition simply because with Coleman Jones gone, you want to have another guy that you got on there on the roster that can kind of come in and play there, and we'll see if he's the guy who ends up starting or if Farrakhan gets that starting position next season. But definitely adding depth to your big men group with the return of Miles Heide as well. It once again seems like San Diego State got a little bit stronger.
And let's quickly wrap up with the NCAA tournament. Men's Final Four, all 1 seeds. Surprise, surprise to nobody this year. Auburn in Florida, Houston and Duke. I've been saying since the jump, I think it is a crash course for Florida and Duke to meet up. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah. I've got the same thing. Florida knocking off Auburn and Duke beating Houston. You love that Houston, one of their lone losses, 4 losses on the year?
One of the Aztecs, baby!
Was to San Diego State. So in that regard, maybe I'm rooting for Houston, but Duke, it just looks too strong. And I agree with Jake. It's not often that happens.
That's a rarity. Say it again.
I got Duke beating Florida in the final.
Run it back.
I picked Florida before the NCAA tournament started to win it all, but as this NCAA tournament's got on, I kind of like Duke, man. It's kind of hard for me to be saying that Duke's not going to win. They've looked fantastic. Cooper Flagg looks like a guy that looks well beyond his years, not a freshman, and he's going to be an incredible talent in the NBA. The ability of him passing, rebounding, defense, shooting, he's got it all. He simply does, and he's the best player in the tournament. Florida maybe have one of the next best players in Clayton who, popped off shot after shot in that game against Texas Tech to come back. Some incredible stuff. Looks like Steph Curry on some of those shots. I definitely think it is going to be Florida and Duke. I could see Auburn, coming out and beating Florida. Those are, familiar opponents having played in the SEC. Houston, if they play a good enough defensive game and they can get some good offensive production out of Sharp, there could be an upset there. Ultimately, Duke and Florida. I'm going to stick with my Gators pick in my bracket because that's what I picked, because I want my bracket to be right and I want those points. But
you got your bases covered now. That's you got.
I'm still picking Florida, but my gut's telling me Duke might just win this whole thing.
Now that we've all picked Florida and Duke, it will be Auburn and Houston. That's just how it works in this industry, right? We will know next week when we come back on the final quarter who is playing in that national championship game, and we hope you enjoy every week here on the final quarter on CBS 8+. Be sure to join in on the conversation, especially about SDFC, please.
Can't believe you said I had the worst take of all time.
Let's prove somebody right here.
Have you heard Skip Bayless and Colin Coward talk?
I'll give you the final word.
I don't want it.
Good night.